will be talking about what asbestos is, the types, regulatory rules, where it can be found, occupations with the highest exposure, and health concerns. Asbestos is a naturally occurring fibrous mineral found in metamorphic rocks. It is found in the western U.S., North and South Carolina, Tennessee, and Canada. There is no asbestos produced in the United States. What we use, we import from Canada. The peak use is from the 1900s to the 1970s. Regulatory rules. December 1977, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission banned the use of asbestos-containing compounds and artificial fireplace ash products. July 1989, the U.S. EPA banned most contaminated products. However, this was overturned 2 years later. Today, only products with less than 1% of asbestos can be made. Where might you find asbestos? If you have an older home, you may find it in several places in your home. You may also find it in your schools and power plants. BC Cobb plant, J.C. Weddock, and J.R. Whiting plant all contain asbestos. Chrysotile is the white asbestos. It is the most commonly used kind. It is in the serpentine family, which means it has curly fibers, as you can see in the picture. Products that contain chrysotile include fireproofing, ceiling tiles, gaskets, insulation, roofing, brake pads, adhesive, pipe wrap, and cement boards. Amosite is the brown asbestos. It is in the amphibole family, which means it has straight, needle-like fibers. It is the second most commonly used. Products that contain amosite are ceiling tiles, roofing, floor tiles, that's fireproofing on a garage, gaskets, and siding on a house. Chrysotile is the blue asbestos. Amphibole family, needle-shaped fibers. And it's found in insulation, roofing, spray-on piping insulation, pipe wrap, and it used to be found in Kent Micronite cigarette filters in the 1950s. Anthophyllite is a more rare type of asbestos. It is also in the amphibole family with straight needle-like fibers. It is a contaminant in chrysotile asbestos, vermiculite, and talc, which is used to make talcum powder. It is gray, dull green, or white in color and considered non-commercial. Products that contain anthophyllite, the eaves trough on that house has it in it, pipe wrap, and roofing materials. Tremolite and actinolite are the last two kinds. They are in the amphibole family, straight needle-like fibers, considered non-commercial, also found as contaminants in chrysotile asbestos, vermiculite, and talc. It is brown, white, green, gray, or transparent in color. Products that contain this, W.R. Grace Company in Libby, Montana, used to make zonalite attic insulation. It is vermiculite, and you can see in the bottom right picture, in the black circles, there are the asbestos fibers in there. In 2003, as many as 35 million homes in the U.S. may contain this zonalite insulation from Libby, Montana. Exposure to asbestos is airborne through inhalation. It may be chronic or acute. The permissible exposure limit is 0.1 fiber per cubic centimeter of air over an 8-hour time-weighted average. The excursion limit is 1 fiber per cubic centimeter of air, averaged over 30 minutes. Occupations with high exposure: construction workers, Korean war vets, firefighters, power plant workers, asbestos building inspectors, Vietnam War vets, and asbestos abatement workers. Asbestosis is one of the sicknesses that exposure to asbestos causes. It is not considered a cancer. It causes damage to the lungs, which results in chronic lung disease. As you can see in the picture, it causes scarring and the lung to shrink. Mesothelioma is the aggressive and deadly form of cancer that occurs in the thin layer of tissue that covers the majority of your internal organs, or your mesothelium. It is caused by the inhalation of asbestos fibers, which cause inflammation and scarring. There are about 3,000 new cases each year. The latency period is 20 to 30 years between exposure and onset of mesothelioma. Once diagnosed, the prognosis is not very good. Average life expectancy is 6 to 12 months, and only 33% of patients live longer than a year. It is about $60,000 for the first year of mesothelioma treatment. An average claim in 2010 was $180,000, and the asbestos bankruptcy trusts hold a combined total of more than $30 billion for those who have been injured by exposure to asbestos. That was in 2016, it's probably a little more. Now you know what asbestos is, the types, the regulatory rules, where it can be found, the occupations with the highest exposure, and health concerns. On the table in front of you is a paper that has references that if you have any questions, you can look that up. Thank you.